Today I'm going to record this video just for documenting purposes. It is the 24th of May, pretty much almost halfway through the year. This month, I forecast probably to be my lowest month this month, be maybe 55, 50, 60k a month. Okay, month for May. Just to give you a brief rundown of the year. So I pretty much peaked in October 25, did around 75k, and then we did around, what are we talking about? November 25, this 26. Pretty much all the way up until April. I've been stuck around this 75. I'll say it's between 75 to 80 per month. So traditionally, through the last 3-4 months, been around this 70 to 80k a month. Haven't been able to break through it. Haven't been able to break through it because one big thing that I've been facing is with churn. So churn is 20%. And I've kind of capped that at like 40 to 50 clients. I have to acquire the same amount of clients to stay where I am right now. So this month, because acquisition is that hot, I'm expecting to bring in around 50 to 60k a month. And these 4 or 5 months, I've just kind of realized the biggest thing that's been holding me back is my inability to hire people and manage people. And yeah, like for example, January, I hired my first CSM at the time. That went pretty badly. Fired it where she left after 4 weeks. Had to then also hired a new media buyer at the time. He left after 2 months. I pretty much had to rehire the CSM and the media buyer position for pretty much 3 times. And now I'm in a position where in May, I'm ramping up my brand new CSM and he's pretty good. We're only 1.5 weeks in, so who knows? And I'm also ramping up a new media buyer right now. One thing that I've learned to go from 0 to 50k a month is that you just sign more deals, and from 50 to 100k a month is being able to delegate and hire people. And the big thing I've realized, especially with me being stuck at 70k, being so close to 100, not being able to break through, is I've been trying to do everything myself. Whenever something breaks, I try and go in and fix it. And the way I've hired is I haven't hired the best people, to be quite honest, for the role. And it's my 3rd time hiring for the CSM. And yeah, I was trying to realize the importance of having good talent. If I was just able to have just one person focus on fulfillment and client communication and keep retention sub 13%, then we're chilling. We're going to hit 100k no problem. But trends at 20% still. So CSM, my current CSM right now is not able to bring it down. The CSM not able to bring them down. I still have to keep driving to delivery, so her role's kind of redundant then. And as a result, I don't really focus my time on sales. And as a result, sales goes down. I try to jump back into fulfillment, try and fix everything up again. The problem is just no matter how many SOPs, how many systems you really build into the business, the ability of a strong hire overrides the need for you to have those SOPs in place. So for example, you build as many SOPs for a VA because VAs offshore, English is their first language. It's a lot more methodical in terms of like the things that they have to do as a VA. So SOPs make sense. However, when you're hiring for a role like a CSM or a media buyer, even being a media buyer, communication is incredibly important. Ability to critically think is very, very important. Where those are things that you can't put into SOPs no matter what. Like it's just so difficult, and I've just come to realize like you can't hire a CSM just like the way you hire a VA. It's absolutely impossible. You're much better off paying more in the short term, paying for a lot more for a good hire, for you to look after your portfolio of clients, because again, it's all about investing in good talent. Investing in good talent will come 10 times more back to you in the business than anything else. It's probably the biggest thing that I've realized, me being stuck at this point. And one of my core things that have been holding me back for so long is my fear of spending money. And one thing that you don't see when you're scared of spending money is the cost of hiring poorly or cost of going for the cheapest option. And you don't see that bite you in the ass until 2-3 months later. Well, for my scenario, CSM, because in this situation, CSM is good. They work hard, but their business acumen, the ability to retain clients, emotionally aware, those are things you can't train in SOPs. And you can't train no matter how many SOPs and how many things you throw at them. So one thing I've learned, especially at this stage. Hire properly at the start, and hire just hire the right person and spend more on the right person, please. It is so valuable. If I was to go back and if I just did this properly in January when I first hired my first CSM and I hired them properly, then I would be way past 100. I'll be at 100k by now. But now, this month, we're trailing back to 50, 60k. I expect to forecast 6 more days left. 50, 60k is where I expect to hit. A good CSM is still early to say. And even he won't be fully ramped until month 2, month 3, so maybe June, July-ish. And it is more likely than not by then I should be completely off client fulfillment and client communication. So it took me 6 months, 5-6 months to learn something that I could have learned a lot earlier. But again, this also ties back to understanding who you are as a person, your identities, and the need for you to kill your old self to become the new version of yourself that can achieve a certain level of revenue. For example, the version of me that got to 70k, 80k a month, I'm capped there. That version of myself is not capable of getting to 100k a month because the attributes that got me there, for example, able to do delivery, media buying, sales, client communication, I was doing it all pretty much, and I had a couple of VAs helping me, but I was capped and I was stretched. For me to get to the next level, I need to, again, focus all my attention on content, marketing, sales. That's it. I should not be doing client fulfillment. I should not be doing delivery. I should not be touching any of the back-end stuff at all. So again, for me to do that is I need to learn to let go a lot more. Something that I haven't been able to do, and I've been struggling really hard to let go a lot more, spend more money on talent, and not be afraid to invest and deploy capital. So a couple things I learned, and I've got the right team in place, hopefully. If I don't, rehire, unfortunately, if I do, and keep going. That's really it. This is the first time where I've contracted kind of quite a bit, actually. But again, revenue is just kind of like an external reflection of the internal. I have learned quite a lot, like hiring, systems, managing, leading, all the important things. Now it's just a matter of ramping up the CSM, ramping up the media buyer, making sure those who communicate. But I think the CSM is going to be the key unlocky. I expect in the next 2 months for me to hover around maybe between 50 to 70. Once we have the pod lockdown processes, all in on sales, I'm gonna 100k in 3 months. That's what I expect if the CSM and media buyer goes to plan. I had the goal of hitting 100k a month in April, and we are now in May. I've had to rehire the CSM media buyer 2-3 times now. So now I'm on my third one. So this is an interesting one because again, the version of me that got myself to 70 to 80k was not enough to get myself to 100k, even though the gap was 20k. It seems small, but the version of myself that had to get to a level for me to be able to achieve 100k is the one that's able to let go a lot more, deploy their capital a lot more aggressively in hiring really good talent, and just being able to get out of fulfillment and client delivery. That is the only thing that I need to get out of right now. I still have a bad habit of checking the dashboard, checking client results, which I should not be doing. That should be my client manager, my media buyer, and my customer success manager's role. Just removing myself completely. That's the hardest thing that I've been really struggling to do the last couple of months. But I hope to watch this video again. May, June, July, 100k a month. I'm going to see this video. I'm not going to give up. I'm almost there. I know I am. And yeah, super excited.